Well, joining us now is the founder and director of Unplugged Coalition, Jennifer Powers. Jennifer, what specifically is Ofcom saying today?
Hello. Yes, well, this is a really significant intervention from Ofcom and a very timely publication of a report just before the government's consultation on restrictions on social media closes next week. And the report talks about two of the big five social media platforms not going further to protect children online, and particularly singling out TikTok and YouTube. Although I have to say, I think parents across the country would feel that there's not enough happening across all platforms rather than just these two. But those were the two that were sounded out by the regulator.
In terms of how young some of these children are that are seemingly using screens all the time. They're saying that the majority of under twos already use screens, that 65% of parents with children aged 6 months to 2 years say that their child goes online. 85% of parents say they look at screens, which, I mean, you can't really avoid, but I don't know if there's a difference there between looking at a screen and using a screen. But it's pretty clear that this is, if you want to call it an epidemic, all children seem to be looking at these screens.
Yeah, absolutely. The statistics in the report are harrowing. And as someone who works on this issue sort of 7 days a week, sadly, I'm not surprised, because we know that what's needed is a huge culture change in this country with regard to children and addictive technology, children and their use of screens. And there's obviously a role for parents there in terms of understanding the huge negative impact that letting their babies, toddlers, and older children encounter from heavy screen use. But there's also a role, in my opinion, for the government and for the regulator, Ofcom in this instance, to really hold these big tech platforms to account. I mean, yes, of course, we want their innovation, we want their investment, we want the jobs, but that doesn't mean that we should give them a carte blanche to steal our children's childhoods and to have such a negative impact. And let's not forget, children, they don't have the agency that we have as adults. And so it's right, in my view, that we set guardrails and that we protect them. And I think what Ofcom is doing is saying, look, these voluntary measures that these tech platforms are making are not sufficient to safeguard children. And there's...
I agree with you quite a bit with what you're saying, but clearly the problem is that parents don't care enough. If parents are allowing their toddlers and babies even and, primary school age children to sit and watch the screens all the time, then, what can the regulators really do to stop that?
Oh, my goodness. There's so much that all of us can do. I really don't think it's a binary decision here. Okay. I think, yes, absolutely. I go out and give talks to parents a couple times a week during term time. So I completely agree with you that it's about educating and engaging with parents in a really non-judgmental but hard-hitting way. But no, there's a fantastic amount that government can do. For instance, and this I appreciate, not, some of your viewers may say, oh, there's no role for the state. But I actually think with regard to children's welfare, there very much is. We don't send children down mines or up chimneys anymore. And we definitely can create a world here in Britain where babies and toddlers are not raised on TikTok and Snap. And so, yes, it's about parents understanding the damage. The government came out with guidance for parents only a few months ago saying that under two, like your baby, should not have any screen time. And that, from 2 to 5, that it should be done in a co-watching environment, i.e., you watch it with your preschooler. And then that's fine, but they shouldn't have unrestricted, unlimited access to the internet. And in terms of the regulator's role, well, listen, these are social media platforms that are incredibly resistant to taking under 13-year-olds off their platforms, despite the fact their terms and conditions say they're for 13 and older. And Ofcom does mention that in the report, and that, more sanctions are needed. So I'm really hopeful that the government will take action on the back of this Ofcom's report and on the pleas of millions of parents across the country.
Okay, Jennifer Powers, thank you very much, founder and director of Unplugged Coalition.